Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, and I was so pleased to be able to go to Mount Shasta over the last week and hang out with Linda and Vinny. I've got Linda Grindel in the house. Hi, Linda.
Hi, everyone. And there was Danny and Kim Copeland
And Danny and Kim Copeland, and neither one of us had ever met Danny in person
in
before.
person. Yeah.
And
Rosaria,
Rosaire, Momilani from Hawaii and her husband Jim, Alice Leong and her husband Jim. There were a lot of Jim.
Alice. Yeah, that's great.
They did a good job, great job, and it was really um, very enjoyable.
It was good seeing you.
Same here. I just enjoyed hanging out with everybody, but I
I
love.
did on my show. You probably haven't watched my shows. I did two shows, one with Sterling and another one. And I did say, it was great seeing you and, you did a great job, but you still need more time to get over that surgery. It shows.
Well, it had only been like 6 weeks. So,
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, because you have somebody wrote me and said it takes like, a good year or two before people. But I said it was Mel, but yet it wasn't Mel. It was weird.
well, it was me, but normally, I'm like go, go, go. It's just
I
like
know.
the Energizer bunny on amphetamines, I just don't stop. And, I just thought I'm going to do Mount Shasta. And if I get tired, I'll go rest. And people were saying, how did I feel? And I felt great, actually. If I got
Good.
tired, I would take a little nap for 20 minutes, hour. And then, I was ready to go again. So I've lost a lot of weight. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was you know, just getting my nutrition back to normal. And that's been,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want to say,
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh, uh, I suggested to Kim when we had the buffet with the taco bar that she does table instead of and that was a little piece. If you guys have a room that's not that big and not able to hold lines of people, you got to have tables. One table goes and then another table goes. And I learned that from working as a caterer. And she looked shocked when I said I worked as a caterer, but I was only like 17, 16, 17. I worked with my boyfriend's mother at a place that used to throw wedding parties and served the little hors d'oeuvres and stuff. And I had a great time, a lot of weddings. But when I told my dad I was doing a Christmas party with the police department, he said, I'm not going to work. You're not going to work there.
Whoa. Whoa.
He didn't want me working with the police. Interesting.
It's funny. My mother was a cook for years, and she was the head of this restaurant. I won't mention the name of the organization, but anyway, my mother was just a cross between Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm and Auntie Mae, and everybody loved her. And it was at lunchtime one day, and he was just giving her grief, and he said, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And she said this long line of swear words. And she said, "I quit." "You can't quit." She said, "Watch me." And she
Why
did.
was he giving her a bad time?
Because the new boss, the board of directors had put him in, and he thought he was all that in a piece of toast, and he was condescending to everybody and just nasty.
And her cooking was probably fantastic.
My mom's cooking was best. I mean, she didn't go to chef school, but she really was a chef in her own right.
I know because
I'm sorry,
I've never eaten your food, but I can tell by when you talk about it that it's good.
right. So anyway, at 65 years old, she started her own catering business. And in Kentucky, they'll rent out VFW halls, things like that to cater. But we had a buffet, but we would, like you said, we do table to table to table.
Yeah,
I remember when we were in San Francisco setting up the tables for lunch. I go, no, let's do it this, because I was always helping my mom. So
yeah,
it's kind of ingrained in my head.
yeah.
But anyway,
So she was she successful?
she had her own,
Did she make more money than she did at that other job?
yes.
I
And
bet people were upset when she left because she was probably a good cook.
they ultimately got rid of him because of it.
Because of that?
Yep. Yep. And then they wanted her back. She said, "No, I have my own business now." She
Wow.
would use that place to cater out of.
I love it.
So she stopped when I think she was 83 or 84, I forget. But up until my mom was diagnosed with cancer, she was running circles around 40-year-olds. She was almost 90 when she died. So,
God bless her.
yep. Anyway, I've got her energy. So,
Yeah. And I want to thank everybody. I got one woman wrote me about how to find something lost in your house, and it involved putting a glass on a table,
wow.
visualizing the item, and then turning the glass upside down. I was going to do that today.
Okay.
And then someone else said, did you pray to Saint Anthony?
Take,
And I prayed to Saint Joseph.
that's okay.
Well, it didn't work with Saint Joseph, but it worked with Saint Anthony
Okay.
because I was quiet and I prayed to Saint Anthony. And my other pendulum kept telling me it was in my bedroom and it was near my armoire. And it kept saying that. And I opened that armoire, I went through it, but right next to the armoire is my dirty laundry basket. And I looked at it and I thought, well, let me just see if when I was throwing clothes in there, if I accidentally threw it in there. And when I moved it out to look, there it was behind the dirty laundry clothes,
Wow. There you
as
go.
big as day. So I have it now, you guys.
Yay. Well,
It's not as big as the one I had before, but I didn't want a big one because that other one broke in half.
that's the one you got when I was with you, this one here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the guy said your energy broke it.
When we introduced you as my attorney and everything, yeah.
Nice try. That was classic. That was so classic. It was like, do you know who you are? Do you know
Well,
who you
we went in and the guy, what did he say to me? He looked at it. He said, "This is broken in half. Are an energy worker." Am I an energy worker?
Well, obviously, if you went to the store and bought those kind of crystals, one would assume that you're an
I
energy.
bought it because it was pretty, had nothing to do with the
I know,
crystal.
but I know. But that I think that was an excuse. Well, we are energy workers, actually.
Yeah.
But
But
I
I have tons of other crystals that never broke in half.
think that was an excuse just
So
to,
I think he was looking for a way to say, nah, we're not going to, it was like $1,000.
right. It was a way for
And
him to
I
say we're not
said,
going
well,
to remember.
I have this YouTube channel with over 130,000. You guys, I don't try to pull rank, but I did that day.
And they're
Sorry.
all waiting to say what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, I did say some good. So he said, well, let me go ask my wife, which he should have done in the first place.
I don't even think he asked his wife. I just think he went in the back.
He went in the back and they weren't going to act like they were taken back by those. But I want to get, what was the name of the place?
I can't remember.
Crystal something
Right.
connections or something.
Like that.
Anyway, they said go pick out another one. So I got another one that was smaller than the one I had and easier to handle.
I like the one you got now better than the other one.
Yeah, me too. I like this one a lot. And I feel this one. The other one,
See, there you go. It spoke to you. Maybe that one was supposed to break so you could get this one.
right, right.
Good try,
But
Mel.
we really say Shasta was beautiful.
It's a
And everybody was so cool. So many nice people.
we got to meet a lot of our subscribers, a lot of people in the community. I wore this hat today because it's the last day of LGBTQ Pride. It should be Pride for everybody. But I was talking to a lady there, and she's gay, she and her partner, and we had some people attended who were of the LGBTQ community, and she wanted to thank us, not just the gay psychics and lesbian psychics in our community, but the entire community, to say that because we came out as gay and just who we are, it empowered many people to be who they are in the LGBTQ community and other
That's
communities.
wonderful.
And
That's
so
wonderful.
I wore the hat today to thank
An
her.
honor.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, the best thing to do is just be you.
right. And I sent the article to Mel, but my friend Mark Rhodes,
Yes.
who is the concierge of the gay community in San Francisco. By the way, I'm not gay. but I have millions of friends that are gay.
You're not?
Oh my, but I come off very butch, you know what I'm
No.
saying? Although, my balls would tell you different, but technically I'm not, because I like the menses.
Honey,
So do you. We fight over them.
just ask her menses. They'll tell you she ain't gay.
But I get along so good. In fact, Mark invited me to this event in San Francisco, and I told you about it's with a very famous gay author, comedian. I think he was on Hollywood Squares. He's that guy with the funny glasses and big hair. Anyway, so he's going to treat me and my sister to VIP. We're going to get to meet him, but apparently they got a lot of um, what do you call those cross dressers that I love?
Transgendered. Oh,
Trans
oh, you mean drag queens?
Drag queens. I love drag queen shows.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Um, all right, on that happy note, let's start our own show. How's that? There you go. Linda and Debbie are going to be up there like, I love it. Okay, are we ready? Okay, there's one here, Jesus Arias Jr. Hey, Jesus Arias Jr., how are you? Hey, this is the Jesus I think I know. Yay. He watches
yeah.
us and he's a really nice guy. Um, and he has a very, very valid question here.
Okay.
With the whole DACA program, my heart bleeds because the people in DACA are in limbo.
Oh, I know. And it's been that way for years. And I always saw it being codified, so to speak.
So his question is, what will happen with the DACA program?
With the next president, it'll finally be stamped.
My feeling is it'll just lay on hold for a while because if
Yeah.
we started deporting DACA, oh, um, and I agree. I feel like once Cittadini is gone, then the next president, the people under DACA will make them citizens and also will reinstate people with citizenship that were unlawfully deported.
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you something that'll help. This bill, I've got the TV on, you guys, to
Yeah.
see if they say this bill is the death certificate for all these people. When these people, especially in the red states, start to struggle and their hospitals are being closed, trust me, they will not vote for another Republican than the man in the moon. And
Well,
that will be fantastic.
I had my nose big, beautiful bill. I feel like it'll pass, but it's like,
Oh, it's going to pass,
oh yeah, but it's going to
but
be.
it's the death certificate.
I keep seeing that coffin. It's a golden coffin, but if you pull the gold back, it's styrofoam. But I see this one huge nail just going right into it, and it's going to be, that's it.
Oh, and Laura Trump thinks she's going to run in South Carolina. Tillis said he's not running again.
Who wants to?
That Tillis.
Oh,
Tillis is against this bill, but he's not a good guy because trust me, he did a lot of damage to us.
yeah, but that could very,
Tillis isn't running again. Trump was saying we're going to get him out of there. Trump, who remember when we were going to have the red wave and he was saying we want this person, we want this person, and none of them won except one. None of them won.
it wasn't even a pink trickle. It wasn't even,
No. And
well,
let me tell you something. Laura Trump couldn't win against Daffy Duck. She's not going to win.
oh, I like that. I'd
She's
vote
not going to win.
I'd vote for Daffy Duck.
First of all, the thing she's got going against her is her last name is Trump.
True. You know, I had seen the big beautiful bill passing. I call it the big BS bill.
Yeah.
Um, but you're right. It is going to be a nail in the coffin for all those people who voted for it. Was it you that showed me in Mount Shasta? There was a Nebraska farmer who was saying that they grew
Oh,
soybeans,
yeah.
but because all of the people that worked in the fields fled the state.
Fled the state.
And so then with the tariffs with China, they're not buying the soybeans, so they're in the ground rotting. And the farm
Yeah. And he contacted President Trump. And he's a big MAGA.
is because
All of Nebraska love Trump. And it's God, I feel so bad. Every time I think about that, I think about those Hispanics and Venezuelans. Vote for Trump. Vote for Trump while he's packing them up and shipping them out.
well, but I think that a lot of that was propaganda as well. Those people, a lot of those Hispanics that were vote for Trump, there were a handful, and I'm sure many of them got paid under the table for entertainment purposes only to show
A
up.
lot of Hispanics voted for Trump.
I know,
Even my tribe, a lot of my tribe voted for Trump.
but if you look at the total number of Latinos in this country and Latinas, that overall statistically it was a handful. And I just don't understand why, but I think
Well, let me tell you, he didn't win anyway. That's going to be proven.
that is correct. But the bottom line is, I think you showed me that article where there was a governor
Yeah,
of
in
Nebraska
Nebraska. Yeah.
asking for help, and he's a MAGA. So I think, I don't know. I don't know. I just wonder, here's a question. Do you think that Trump will give him the help he's asking for because they are one?
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you something else. He's now told somebody interviewed him yesterday, and he said they are now working on getting exceptions for workers at farms, etc. Like he said before, except I think the little Nazi Steve Miller changed that. But we're now going to do the exceptions for people that pay taxes.
But he didn't pay taxes.
No,
The hypocrisy is just blows me away. It just blows me away.
and they're all upset about, the revealing of confidential. And then in the meantime, someone on social media posted that picture with all those confidential records in his bathroom.
I
He got a lot of nerve.
have to laugh. It's not funny. It's tragically funny. It's just, wow. Okay, Felicity Gibbs wants to know, will Kamala ever be president? I, I,
No,
I'm not saying that.
I used to hope, but no. She already told someone she's not, even if it's proven she won, that she won't be jumping in.
Um, PEC 9905 says, since most of you see that horrible bill, the big BS bill, you mean, passing Congress, will the horrible cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and tax cuts for the wealthy be reversed eventually?
Yes, yes.
At the
When
midterm,
this here's the deal. Remember, Biden tried to help with the DACA. He said he was going to. But the thing is, she still had a lot of Republicans in there.
right?
But
Right.
what's going to happen now, it's people haven't seen this since the Civil War. There was a Republican saying, I got into as a senator because when the promise of some sort of health care didn't go through, um, everybody uh, voted for Republicans. So we had the House for the first time since the Civil War. And now he said, because of this bill, you're going to see all of that being reversed.
Oh, yeah. You know, and just to change the subject real quick, I heard that Israel's strikes struck Gaza. It hit a restaurant, a popular restaurant, and it killed 20 Palestinians. They don't need to be striking Gaza anymore.
No, they strike tents. What a bunch of.
But I asked my guides for a message. It was a seafood cafe that they struck. For what purpose? You don't tell me terrorists were eating there. Come on. But my guides told me that, the bombing of innocent civilians is wrong no matter who does it.
Exactly. And listen, did you see that video of him going to speak? Was it the UN or one of those big places? And mostly everybody got up and walked out.
Exactly.
And he was tongue-tied. And also Ireland at the Israel embassy, they put this big, huge, how you can do a sign with lights, that Netanyahu is a war criminal.
Well, there's a international tribunal, and they are saying that they had a warrant for him as a war criminal, and also for Putin, and I think for the head of Hamas, and I think Trump's going to be on that list too.
Oh yeah, he's going to go down.
Okay. Diane Brewer says, what is Merrick Garland thinking and feeling? Does he have regrets?
I actually feel yes.
I think he's feeling like he should have done more quicker. He's very methodical.
Yeah.
And I think, like many people, he's in a state of shock as to what's going on.
He didn't realize it could get this bad.
Correct. But, you know, I don't think he's done. I've got a funny feeling he might be a judge somewhere. I don't think he is a judge, but I don't think he's finished. But I keep seeing Pam Bondi in jail. It's going to be just like John Mitchell, the Attorney General under Nixon. Same thing my guides tell me. So
Yep.
justice will be done.
I love it.
Let's see. What did I do here? Oh, I lost my place. Linda, give me 1 second. Uh, is Mercury retrograde or something? I don't know.
Something's coming up with Mercury being retrograde for quite a while.
I want to ask you,
I think it's in July though.
this morning I was kind of, unpacking. I didn't do it last night. I didn't get home till late. But I just had this foreboding that something huge, something big is going to pop. Are you feeling that at all?
No, but it doesn't mean you're wrong.
I don't know if it's
Because we've got like those poor firemen that were shot.
yeah.
That was terrible.
Oh, it was awful.
I
But
wonder what they'll find out about the shooter.
I don't know.
He killed himself.
Wow. But I just had this feeling, I don't know if it's a foreboding, that something big is going to pop, something
Yeah.
huge. And it feels like it's within the next few days to week.
In the United States or in Europe?
I'm thinking United States. It's huge.
Wow. It could be some underground hit terrorist action or a natural occurrence.
I don't know. That's all I'm getting. I'll focus on it and see. I just feel this break in the floor.
Damn.
All right. Um, Maggie Who says, so does the 45 million for Trump's Eagle parade include the cost of Melania's participation? Probably.
Yeah.
He had to pay her to be he had to pay her to be there. This is a really long question, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's like she talks about in the question about what the big beautiful bill does. We all know what it's going to do, but remember,
It's the death certificate for the Republicans.
in a way, if it passes, it's terrible, but in a way, it's good because it's a death certificate.
Right. And they all know it's wrong.
Of course, they do. They just don't want to go against the big D or the little D, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. Seasonally affected wants to know what's ahead for Murdoch Enterprises.
I think he's going to die pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, when I think about him, I just don't see a long life for him at all. And I agree. He's not long for the earth plane. I don't wish him harm. But I've often said the propaganda arm of his empire, we know what that is. I see one of his sons is going to want to take it over
But
and
they already went to court about that.
okay.
Yeah, somebody wanted to be in charge, but he's divided it amongst all the children, and the judge said he can't change his mind.
Right. But I still see a group of the children getting together saying that they would rather make it more like not what it is now, but middle of the road and starting to tell the truth.
Well, that would be something. Can you put me on pause 1 second?
Yep, just give me 1 second here. Hold on. Everybody, we're back. We had a little technical glitch, but we're good. Anyway, all right. So isn't it weird though? But it could be that maybe a certain arm of Murdoch Enterprises is sold, and whoever buys it brings it
Could be, yeah.
because I see it sold, I see it brought back to mid-center, you know, not left, not right, just kind of in the middle. So we'll see what happens. I think it's
Okay,
going to happen within the next 3 or 4 years, even.
right.
Okay. Do evil people have evil guides?
I don't feel that. No.
I don't think there's a such thing as
There's
evil.
evil spirits that hang around those who reek of evil. They love to be in that.
I think evil people just choose to misuse their power.
But it always comes back on them, so it's
Well,
sad. Yeah.
it comes around full force.
Yeah.
Okay, Auntie Vaughn says, hello, Auntie Vaughn. Aloha, Auntie Mel and Lady Linda. Ooh, Lady Linda.
Oh, she called me a lady.
He said, Lady
I
Linda.
just point at my toes.
Linda's going, ooh, moi. Um, after 47 is gone, what will happen to his press secretary, B.S. Barbie? Oh, I like that one, B.S. Barbie.
After who's gone?
After 47 is gone, Cheeto
Yeah,
Lean, after he's gone, what will happen to his press secretary, B.S. Barbie? In other words, I think they're asking about what her career is going to be like after
it's
he's
going to
gone.
be awful
It's going to be horrible.
because they're not going to have Fox News to hold on to anymore. I don't see charges against her as much as I do Pam Bondi and the rest of them. And did you hear that Christine Nome took $80,000 into her own pocket for some donation?
She's going to be another one that comes down, and so will Cash Patel, um, obviously, Bondi.
Yeah,
Oh, yep, and Miller.
yeah,
Um, I see that this feud between Elon Musk and Trump escalating more, and so it's going to start to get more media attention.
I love it.
Yep.
Can you put me on pause? It sounds like someone's trying to open my door.
Hold on just one second. Okay, we got glitches today. Mercury must
Yeah,
be great or
I
something.
heard a ghost that says rattling my door. I'm having that driveway put in, the cement driveway.
Oh,
Because let me tell you, we had all gravel and rocks, and moving those garbage cans to go to the street, it partner ripped my arm off. And Jeff helps too, but it's very hard, especially when it's winter. So we got just a driveway with cement, so it's easy to move it.
yeah. I'm not supposed to lift anything over 20 pounds for another couple of weeks. So
You've
I,
been saying that since 2 years ago.
there you go. Well, it takes a long time to heal.
So how'd you manage picking up that big old ass pizza?
Somebody carried it for me. No.
Yeah.
Um,
They
okay.
told me not to bend over after my face got done.
Yeah, they don't want you to.
No bending over. I said, tell him that.
That's funny. I'm going to use that one.
Okay.
Um, Zazutko says, New Jersey governor candidate is set. Who will win? Mickey Sherrill, a Democrat, or well, in English it's Citarelli, and in Italian it's Citarelli, uh, representative endorsed by Trump. She wants to know who
Oh,
won, the Democrat or the Republican.
the Democrat will win.
I see
You
Democrat.
can pretty much stamp those because whatever Trump is saying he wants somebody, his numbers are so low. He's got nerve even saying anything
Right. His,
because that'll make people go the other direction.
his numbers are going to plummet even more. Just wait
Oh my God.
until you see what we're going to be paying for a loaf of bread.
This bill right now, it's underwater as far as the public's concerned. Nobody wants
Completely.
it.
Yep. Um, I see it passing, but like you said, it's just a nail in the coffin for.
Yeah. But can I ask you something?
Yep.
What do you see happening with this spectacle of Amazon? Jeff Bezos and that girl that looks like a blow up Barbie?
I'm sorry, what's going on with it?
They got married in Vienna this past weekend. And of course, everybody's got pictures of them and last name is Martinez. I'd love to know how much money she came into this thing with. I'm sure he had her sign a fat prenup. But this popularity with them, I think he's going to get hit up with taxes pretty good when the new administration comes in.
He will.
Okay.
Um, I won't give my predictions on the marriage.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very superficial.
Um,
He's pretty not very good looking, although his first wife was very pretty, very naturally pretty. So this wife, I think he just likes having this fake woman that people like to look at. Men go, like, oh, because I swear to God, she's got watermelons
it's like a
and lips.
it's like a bauble, something pretty. Look at what,
Yeah.
you know. Um, I wrote Snowball in Hades. In other words, I asked about the longevity of the marriage and all that. And it came back, it'll last about as long as a snowball in Hades. So what does that?
Okay.
That's where I was going with it.
Well, he'll probably get real shook up when his wealth starts dropping.
Right. And it will. And so will Musk's and
What
Trump's.
is that? And people are losing their health insurance. He barely pays his Amazon people.
I know.
And it's that, let them eat cake energy.
And
So,
that whole attitude, let them eat cake, is going to be the downfall of of the MAGAs, the Republicans, and a lot of these oligarchs. It's like, you know,
wow.
no more getting wealthy on other people's blood, sweat, and tears. It's like, we are tired of we're not going to eat the cake. We want to be able to have a standard of living where we don't have to worry about paying for our medications, don't have to worry about being ill, don't have to worry about foreclosure or being deported illegally. So a lot of people are going to be standing up protesting against these oligarchs getting wealthy on the backs of the of everybody else.
Right.
That's
Right.
what I see coming. Okay, Barbie Pomales says, "Well, does Satan and the people behind Alligator Alcatraz, I love it, face the Hague or the Hague? I forget how you pronounce it. The answer to that is yes.
Absolutely, yes. And I saw, did you see they just got tents up in this horrible heat? And basically, I see a storm coming that'll hit there, and a lot of people will die. And they are trying not to say it out loud, but I see people sneaking in there getting the 411, and that will be crimes against humanity.
I think people are already dying from heat prostration. They're just not saying anything.
Right.
Prostration.
Canada's furious. I guess we already killed one of their people that they took and
Wow.
had no business taking.
Um, okay. That says, let's see, will the Dems fix everything that the GOP breaks? Well, yeah, they always fix everything
They always. Obama had to fix it.
okay.
Biden had to fix it.
Right? And then people forget about how bad it got. And then, when like the Republicans or the MAGAs come in, they're like, well, I'm going to fix everything, but it doesn't need to be fixed. And then they,
Right. Well, the other thing is he promised, Trump promised, oh, you won't your price of eggs and the grocery people, and they're eating the cats and the dogs
right.
and all kinds of bull and all kinds of promises. And if we didn't learn our lesson from the first time, the guy lies while breathing.
When do you know he lies? He opens
While
his
he's breathing.
mouth. He breathes. Okay, Antoinette's granddaughter. This is a good one. Welcome back, both of you. Thank you. Missed you. Do you think the Pope will ever come to America? I do.
Yes, I do.
I think he'll come to Chicago, New York, LA, Washington, D.C. Um, but I see him here in Chicago. Um, okay, this is this is what I'm getting. That's the name of the person. This is what I'm getting. The November is a big election year for New Jersey. Well, we've already been asked that. I'm sorry. I think the Dems will win in New Jersey. I really do. That's what I predict.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Donald, or don't wait, don't add Highland and Mill. Do you see any ice people getting hurt or worse, and what would 45 do about it? Oh, that's a good question.
What was the question again?
Do we see any people working for ICE getting hurt? And if so, what would Trump do about it? He'd probably send in troops like he did in Los Angeles, which was totally uncalled for.
Yeah, he's such a over. He wants a big, huge fight, but I don't see anybody giving it to him.
He's trying to pick fights because that way he can make himself look like the big savior.
But his numbers, you think, wait till this bill goes through. Oh
Oh,
my God, Eric Trump floats the idea of a Trump dynasty. They are so over the hill. They are beyond, they are nobodies. The only people that adore him are the multimillionaires, but
it's not going to last. I mean, the Trump dynasty will crumble.
yeah,
And it's
it's just going to start caving. I just see it. And this is what's coming up big time. And when we have a lot of these hits, natural disasters, and they're not helping Americans, it's going to really hurt them.
you know what I just thought of when you said that? Um, the Trump dynasty crumbling. I saw, when they implode a building and they put the charges inside
Yeah,
and implodes? That's what I saw when you
it fell into itself even.
correct. It implodes. It just
Yeah,
pancakes and falls. Um,
beautiful.
and the pancaking is starting, but once it takes momentum, it's going to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Um, okay, let's see. Here we go. Oh, Catherine Miller says, hi all. Here's hoping that you're both feeling well. Thank you.
thank you.
Question. About 70 attorneys in Florida filed a petition with the Florida Bar Association against Pam Bondi regarding ethical complaints and obstruction of justice issues. Will the Florida Bar deal with her? That's a good
The
question.
American Bar Association will. I
Well, they're
wonder if the Florida Bar won't quite do that.
I don't think the Florida bar is going to do anything just yet, but there's going to be so much that comes out about this.
Yeah, then they'll do something.
I have to. But my guides have shown me for a very long time that her legal license would be revoked.
Oh yeah. I know Cheeseburger's got his removed in it takes a while,
But
but
if
he
the
got his removed in New York.
but she's licensed to practice under the federal system, and if the federal government says we're revoking them, Trump would say, "Oh no, you're not."
Yeah.
But that's going to create a huge issue too. You watch. There's going to be a huge doo-doo sandwich coming out of this Bondi thing. I see her license revoked, Trump stepping in saying you can't do it. It's going to be huge.
I love it.
Um, okay. A chaotic neutral. I like that. Chaotic neutral
That's
says,
cool.
what do you see for the future of Tennessee politically? In
The
other words,
future
I, I,
Tennessee.
I think they're asking, will it stay red? Will it go
Oh,
purple?
it'll go purple.
I see it going purple.
Yeah.
Okay. Don Klein says, at the inauguration, what did Barron Trump lean in and say to Joe Biden? Joe was smiling, then his face fell.
He was so cruel. He said something really cruel.
I think so too.
Something about you old man or something, he said.
I think he swore too,
Yeah, you're worthless or something. We're gonna be coming after you. Like, just watch out.
or something like that.
Yeah. And Biden was trying to be friendly.
He was trying to be nice.
Yeah. And then you could see Melania say, be nice.
Well, for my kid that said something like that, I'd take him in the parking lot and
Right. No, but he's a little demon from hell.
entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Uh, when Trump leaves office and moves to the Middle East, will he clean out the U.S. Treasury? Is it even still intact since he and Elon went into it to check on it? I don't see Trump fleeing to the Middle East because if he's going to be under indictment and impeached and removed
I,
from office, they'll revoke
I
his.
don't know where, but I see him fleeing or attempting to flee.
He'll attempt to flee, but it won't work
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that.
because I hear intercepted. Um, I hear
I
inter
know Elon will be exiting.
Elon will exit, of course. Yeah.
But let me tell you something. There was also a couple of big nations, Europe, UK and France or something, are going to request that all the gold that the United States holds on their behalf be brought. They want it back. They want all their gold back.
And my guides just told me Trump won't refund it.
Well, he's holding, if he does that, then he's holding it illegally. It's in those big places and they put it there for safekeeping and it's their property and they can ask for it back.
But the question is it even there?
Yeah, most of it's there.
I think most of it is. I think there's some discrepancies, but all right. Um, I don't think he'll clean out the treasury. I think they're doing that already.
Yeah,
Okay. This doesn't have a name, but it says, why are they barricading around the White House? I didn't know they were actually,
around the Treasury and the White House.
right? Are they getting ready to do something so extreme that they fear and expect a violent backlash?
They do fear backlashes
Oh, yeah.
all the time. So does the Supreme Court.
There's something coming up, I'm telling you, that's going to be
Okay.
big. And so I think they're preparing for
Well,
it.
I know even with that's a testing thing. You know how Santos said, what's his name? The guy who's in charge of Florida. I
Just,
call him Satan.
DeSantis.
He has said there will be no voting this time. And I see a lot of lawsuits and I see them turning that over.
Well, you can't take away people's right to vote.
But that's something Trump has his eye on because he'd love to just say the same thing.
Well, it's all a litmus test, but you can't take away people's right to vote. It's constitutional.
Oh,
But,
no.
I mean, they want to put us in a constitutional crisis because they want to keep power.
That's the one thing I do see, and there's a lot of things that shock me about the Supreme Court, but I do see them saying, yeah, you can't do that.
Well, I think, a lot of these politicians under the guise of individual freedom and democracy are really turning some of the states into, you know, a theocracy or a dictatorship like to Satan. And Trump is going to, he uses the governors in the MAGA states, the MAGA governors, to try to put through some of the stuff he'd like to do as a litmus test to see what they can get by with.
Yeah.
That's what
After this bill, it's just going to be horrible for
this
him.
bill is going to be the biggest doo-doo show in the country's history. You'll
Did
see.
you see Ted Cruz was someplace and everybody was screaming, F you?
Oh yeah, you ain't seen anything yet.
And all those people walked out on Netanyahu.
And when you just said that, I saw politicians, MAGA politicians, Cruz being one, walking through the streets or just walking somewhere, and people, not just one, but numerous people throwing all kinds of rotten tomatoes and
Yeah,
rotten
pelting
vegetables.
them. Just
Yeah,
like my view way back when I said they'll be throwing tomatoes.
that's exactly what just came into my mind.
Right,
It might be symbology, but the symbology is very accurate, I think.
right, right.
Um, okay. Barbara Sobel says, "Hello, my two favorite people." Well, hello, Barbara. How come Donald wasn't invited to Bezos' wedding? Bezos was invited to Donald's inauguration. Probably because he didn't want to be embarrassed and he didn't want Trump to try to steal the show or make a big deal out of it.
How do we know he wasn't invited?
I don't know. It just said, how come he wasn't invited to Bezos' wedding?
I heard Ivanka was there with Jared.
I don't know. Trump, I don't know if he was invited or
It
not.
could be one of those places that he could have been thrown in jail. He's very limited about where he can go.
No, that could be. All right. Um,
I don't feel, honestly, I do not feel that they did not invite him.
okay. I don't know.
You know how Bezos is. It's all about how he looks. He would have loved to have the president of the United States at his wedding.
Yeah, but Donald Trump.
But Vienna did not appreciate him being there.
No.
I guess they're having a hard time getting everybody was mad that Vienna did this.
Um, okay, Deanne Rose says, after Taco was elected, there were a group of women who joined the 4 a.m. club. It was called that because we all woke the morning after the election around 4 a.m. and felt the same feeling. The outcome was wrong. Fox News has caught wind and is criticizing and making fun of this, calling us delusional. What will happen with this? I see the 4 a.m. movement growing, as you would say, bigly.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it till now.
I never heard of it before now either, but I see it growing big.
No, it's something to think about, but everybody knew it was cheated. It was stolen.
Right. Well, and even Musk is,
But my personal view is, people, there might be some interviews, but I'm not seeing it being a big deal. They
even
had a psychic hit. They knew that this was wrong. And when the next president comes in, everybody will be happy.
um it was oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Doesn't matter. Um oh, I do see Elon Musk coming out with more about the election and other people as well, because he's already come out and said if it wasn't for me, Trump would have never
Yeah.
been in two swing states, which I think was Pennsylvania and Michigan, actually. Okay, this is a really good one here. Yesenia, I can't pronounce the last name. Aloha. What will
Yeah.
happen to Kilmar Albergo Garcia? Will he be deported again? His attorneys are afraid if he is released on bond, ICE will deport him. Will he win his case against the U.S. government? I see him winning his case against the U.S. government. What do you think?
I think is he going to be deported again? I'm hearing no.
I don't think he'll be deported. He'll win his case against the government. If he loses it, he'll win it on appeal.
It's saying no.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so here's another one. Um, let's see. Also, with these bounty hunters, also, will these bounty hunters be paid by Trump for catching immigrants? You know, he never pays up. He finds a way around
He
that.
never pays up. Someone's giving them money.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
But there's a lot of them are fraudsters. They're arresting people left and right that are taking in young Hispanic girls and raping them.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Will the U.S. ever build an aqueduct from an ocean and do mass scale desalination of seawater? Thank you. I don't see that. I think it would be too expensive.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Yeah.
Okay, we got time for one more. How's
Oh,
that?
good. Because my contractor just wrote me. He's wanting me to come out there. I said I'll be out in 10 minutes.
Okay, Jitterbug 22. I love that name.
I love that jitterbug.
Yep.
Jitterbug.
Jitterbug. Do, 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 do. Okay. Hello, Miss Beautiful Linda and Auntie Mel. Whatever happened with Eileen Cannon? Yeah, you don't hear much about her anymore, right?
Yeah.
Will she be disbarred, convicted, or impeached? I see disbarred, impeached, and convicted. I see all three.
Yeah. I see her being disbarred. But why isn't Thomas stepped down? Why are they still hanging in there? Thomas wanted to retire.
Well, because I think Donald Trump behind the scenes asked him not to.
Okay. He
Um,
knows he promised her he would put her in as a judge, a justice.
right.
And he knows that she's waiting. That could be what he told him. Do me a favor, just stay there for now.
Bingo, because it's too much of a hotbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, Linda, thank you so much. I had a great time in Mount Shasta.
Thank you, honey.
To Kim Copeland for putting it all together.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's the doll.
She's a sweetheart. It was incredible. And we all got to hang out, and it was nice hanging out with the people who are supporters, our subscribers, and with people in the community. So
I
anyway.
love it.
All right. I do have openings for Peru and I've got a couple openings for Iceland. Please let me know as soon as possible. Check out Androniki products. And Linda, I'll see you next Monday.
All right, my friend.
All right.
And let's see if by next Monday, that big thing that you've been feeling.
It's huge. I just,
Okay, well, I trust you. I don't feel it now, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
all right.
Bye, honey.
Bye bye.